What does it mean to have an art space for me? It would mean the world, because there aren't any spaces like that on the 5Cs. I think that to have a space where artists could come together, and especially marginalized groups come together and can create and feel safe and have a big enough space, especially because there aren't big spaces on campus to perform, to practice dances, to do really anything, unless you already know a professor or are going into that field of study. There's no spaces to just hang out and create. So that would be really important.
What art spaces are there on campus that you know of?
The spaces on campus that I know of, there's the dance studio, but the dance studio is only open for if you have talked to a professor about doing a dance. It's not just an open space. You can't just book the space and be in it. You really need to have connections before you can do that. And this can definitely be a groundwork sort of space.
And have you found that the spaces you need connections with have been especially hard for you as a marginalized person on this campus?
Yeah, I mean, considering that most of the spaces are run by white people, and so automatically they aren't very accessible to me, because I would have to step out of my own safety sort of net to reach out to them. They're not reaching out to us in any sort of way. So, yeah, and I don't see anybody in their offices that look like me. Nothing, so definitely.
So that's really important for you when you're looking for an art space.
Yeah, to see somebody like me that especially as a first year, I never really had that. There aren't people that work in those spaces that look like me.
Tell us about one activity that you have participated in that has meant the most to you, and why.
When I was in 9th grade, I participated in this activity. I forgot the name of it, but basically you either sit in a circle or you stand up on one side of a room, and you can raise your hand or you can stand up or whatever. Make yourself known. And they ask you questions that may or may not apply to you, have you ever had to bus into your school? Raise your hand. And it's just to identify the diversity of people that may be in one room, on a socioeconomic level, on an ethnic level, on a national level, on international level. Just the types of people that are in one space, and that really affected me because it allowed me to identify with different people who I would have never had the confidence of going up to. And so that one really was key for me in my development.
Do you see that the Hive could be a space where things like different experiences could come out and join together? Definitely.
And I think especially seeing, again, relating back to the first question, seeing people like them in the actual offices, in the actual space, who are running the space, will make it so much more accessible to feel safe enough to identify with that space, because the final question you're supposed to ask in that is, were you completely honest? And that one, and I mean, for me, it's really easy to be honest, but for a lot of people I know, it's not, especially in inaccessible spaces, so.
Yeah, for sure. I was just going to ask if that experience of finding out that you could identify cross-platform with a bunch of different people, if you found that has affected you as a student at Scripps, or if that's affected you as a student in Claremont. It's
made me more aware of the diversities that are available, or are are in audiences. It's made me more sympathetic and careful and cautious, so that I'm making sure to account for every sort of identity that could possibly be in the room, and make sure to take care of that and not ignore it. Yeah.
How about tell us about a time when you failed? What happened? Why? How did it make you feel, and how did you move past it?
My first semester of at Scripps, I failed my chemistry class. I failed really
Similar.
badly. and it was the hardest thing, especially coming from a school where, like, you were supposed to be successful. And still here, you're supposed to be really successful, but never having that level of failure before, especially in a class, was scary and terrifying. And how did I recover? It's not that you didn't take the class.
Withdrawal?
Yeah, I withdrew from the class with the help of a dean, Dean Sonia, and she was very supportive and said she would rather see me take a withdrawal, see a W on my transcript than an F, and that made me feel better about it. And also knowing she let me know that, like, most people fail something in their college career, and it's just a normal thing that happens. And so that made me feel better about it. But it was definitely, like, heartbreaking a little bit.
Can you tell me a little bit more about, like, what the upshot of that is? Do you ever draw on that experience when you're kind of in tough times nowadays? Have you learned new coping mechanisms, or did you employ stuff that you had learned before?
That was a lot, but it's always in the back of my head that failure is an option, but that doesn't mean that I failed completely as a student. That I can move past things that are hard and ask for help and reach out in those times, and that it's okay. It's not shameful to do. And so I think the biggest lesson I learned was to ask questions and to not give up on myself just because I'm not doing well in this or that. Yeah.
Cool. So, what's the most memorable experience you've had, good or bad, working in a team?
The most memorable experience I've had working in a team, I would definitely have to say would be me and my two best friends working together on projects in general. And I only say that because it has been one of the most joyous and beautiful experiences I've ever had in my entire life. And
same.
And it's just been like, we're constantly growing together, and because it's a continuous process, it wasn't just one project and then we move on. It's definitely going to be a lifetime process of us working together. So it's sort of, we have to learn to cope with one another and learn each other's strategies and learn each other backwards and forwards, and like that has opened me up to different sorts of strategies of working, as well as, like, maybe more sympathetic to other people's processes, and knowing that whatever it is, like, we can work with and around each other to complete whatever it is.
What do you hope to be changed as a result of working at the initiative? What change do you hope to make in the world, however you define world, as a result of your work here? So maybe you want to start by defining world?
World is the people I surround myself with, my teachers, my family, my friends, and my acquaintances. And those are the people I lean on. Those are the people that I care about, and those are the people I would change the world for.
And so how do you hope that working at the Hive will help you change the world for your people?
I think that working at the Hive, I can, first off, be in an administrative position to affect change. And that is so much more powerful nowadays than anything else, because we are too focused on school, we are too focused on money, too focused on all these other things that must get done to survive day to day. And if I can be in an administrative position where I can get paid to do the work that I would otherwise be unpaid and have to do anyway, then I would love that. That would, and then also by being paid, I can give back to my community. in that way too, that I can make time to go and reach out and affect people. How I would do that through the Hive, I think creating programming that allows a safe space to be created for marginalized communities. I would like to do high school outreach if possible, just any sort of way that I can educate and just provide a safe space. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. And do you see yourself being changed in any way by working at the initiative?
Definitely. I think surrounding myself with like-minded people, or at least people who are artistically inclined and who like creating disruption in such a sterile, white, privileged community. And if we can make a pocket in this community for the others that exist, that would change me immensely. That would give me hope.
Beautiful. And last but not least, what else are you doing this year?
I am on Leadership for Family, which is the queer allied group on Scripps campus. I am also in an art collective called The T, which I know you've heard of already. And I am also I go to Wanawake Wasui, Wayusi. Sorry. Which is the Black affinity group on Scripps campus too, and yeah, that's mostly what I do outside of school. I'm also in a student dance piece for my friend, and I'm really excited about that. It explores trials and tribulations and mental health, and how someone's journey through that, the ups and the downs and the relapse and the trying to get help and not getting any, all of that. And yeah, I'm really excited about that.
Melissa?
Oh, I am. I'm also working on my own dance project with my two best friends called Melissa. It's a recreation, it's a recreation and a reimagination of a video that was put out by FKA Twigs for her new album, and I'm really, really excited about that, and I get to choreograph in it and just make cool art stuff with my friends, so yeah. Okay.